Hello, Gold Class Monkeys. So today I thought for the math part of your lesson, I thought I would do something a little bit different. And so this video is for your math lesson. So I wanted to have you guys do some measuring. And we've kind of done this in class a little bit, so you guys are familiar with it. But the first step I want you to do is to find you need either like ribbon or string or even the kind of ribbon that you put on packages, or Miss Leslie has this kind of ribbon that you could actually put in your hair and stuff. Even dental floss would work. Just something that you can stretch out and measure. We're actually going to measure 12 inches of this, okay? And so you also are going to need either a ruler or a tape measure. I don't have a ruler, so I'm going to use my tape measure here. Okay, so here is my tape measure. And so what I want you to do is to measure out either, like I said, ribbon or string, something of that nature, and measure a 12-inch piece of that ribbon, okay? Now, 12 inches is actually also called a foot. You may know that 12 inches is a foot. And I looked this up. Hold on just a second. Let me cut my ribbon to the right length. So it's a foot, 12 inches. Okay, so I now have a 12-inch piece of ribbon, okay? Now, 12 inches is called a foot. And I kind of knew that the reason 12 inches is called a foot was because somebody actually determined that the average foot is 12 inches. Now, not you guys' feet, because you guys are still growing, and your feet are still growing. But I found out that in the United States, where we live, the foot was defined as 12 inches, with the inch being defined by, let's see, it was a unit of measure, and I think there was a king involved who determined this. So apparently a king, King Henry I of England, actually, he was the one who determined the measurement standard for 12 inches being a foot. And he measured his foot, and that became a foot. And so there you go. So anyway, so the first thing you can do with your 12 inches of ribbon or whatever is to see how it compares to your foot. Now, I can't really move the camera, but I'm going to look at my foot and see. My foot is a little bit shorter than 12 inches. I'm tall, and I actually have a pretty big shoe size because I'm tall, but my foot is shorter than 12 inches. So measure your foot. Your foot is probably a lot shorter than 12 inches. So that would be the first measurement you're going to do. But after that, you're going to take your ribbon. This is a 12 inches of ribbon, okay? So you're going to measure it with some things that you're just going to find some things you have around the house. The first thing I'm going to do is find out, this is the cereal I have in my house right now, Corn Chex. I love Corn Chex. So I am going to take Corn Chex, and I am going to measure and see how many Corn Chex it takes to fill up this 12-inch space. So basically what we're doing is, I'm going to say how many Corn Chex equals 1 foot. Okay, how many corn checks equals 1 foot, or 12 inches, okay? Or 12 inches, okay? So if you remember, we kind of did this with you guys. We measured you guys in apples, and when you measure, you have to start at one end, and you have to put them side by side. Hopefully you can see this. You don't want to leave any spaces, right? You want to measure, you got to put them side by side to get a good measurement. And this is a really easy one. So I don't know what kind of cereal you have in your house, but if you have something cool like Corn Chex, Life cereal is a good one because that's nice and square. Circle the ones that are balls, like we have Reese's Puffs in my house too because my daughter's a big Reese's Puffs fan. Those are going to roll. So you got to do it on a surface where they're not going to roll. Fruit Loops would work great. Lots of cereals I think would work. Okay, so I'm going to kind of put these. Okay, so see, I have them from one end, if you can tell, one end to the other, and I have them right side by side. So now I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So it takes 17 Corn Chex to equal 1 foot. So the answer is 17. How do we write 17? Got to write two numbers. First the 1 and then the 7. 17. Well, that's probably backwards to you guys, but 17 is the right one. Okay, so now I want you to measure your 12-inch, 1 foot piece of ribbon or whatever you use. I want you to do it 4 times. Measure it with 4 different things. So you can find some cereal in your pantry maybe. I also have rocks. You might have rocks like outside in your yard. Go get some rocks, measure it in rocks. I have, in my house, I have a coin jar, so you can measure it in coins. I don't think I have all of one kind of coin, like I can't measure it all in pennies or definitely not quarters, but I'm just going to measure it in coins, okay? Another way, see, I have, you guys might remember, we did this in the estimation jar, these cute little pigs. So I could measure it in pigs. So maybe you guys have blocks or some kind of little, whoops, pig fell in the Corn Chex, or some kind of little animal. So I'm going to set my pigs up side by side, and I'm going to see how many pigs it takes to equal 12 inches or 1 foot of ribbon. So I'm measuring, I'm putting them right next to each other. So no gaps, because if there's gaps, that's not a good measurement. You got to put them really close together, right next to each other. You could maybe use like grapes or some other kind of fruit. There's a lot of things. If you have buttons or beads or all kinds of stuff. I just want you to find 4 different things, and I want you to measure your 12-inch piece of ribbon, and I want you to write the numbers for each one, okay? Because we want you to practice writing your numbers too. So let's see how many pigs. Let's see. I'm going to write it. How many pigs equal, here's this, I'm going to say 12 inches. Okay, so let's see how many pigs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So how do I write the number 12? I have to write 2 numbers again. First one is 1. Second one is 2. So 12 pigs, there are 12 pigs equals 12 inches of ribbon. That means each pig is like an inch long because 12 inches equals 12 pigs. Then, so I want you to do that 4 times. I'm only doing it 2 times here, but I want you to do it 4 times with 4 different things. Then I want you to compare your numbers. So it takes 17 corn checks or 12 pigs. Which one is the bigger number? 17, right? So what you're going to say, or which one is the smaller number? 12. And then you might have 2 of your things that you measure with. They might be equal. You might come up with the same number for those. Okay. So that is today's math lesson. Measure out a 12-inch piece of ribbon or string, or like I said, even dental floss, whatever you have in your house. Probably you guys have maybe curly ribbon or something. Ask your mom or dad. And then I want you to measure it with 4 different things you have in your house. And make sure you practice writing those numbers. And then compare them. Which one's the biggest? Which one's the smallest? If you have any equal numbers. Okay? I hope that's a fun math activity for you guys to do today. And I will see you again soon. Bye.